This is Decay of Logos, the launch day 1 version. So I know what you're thinking. Wow, this is a really lovely looking game. It's, whoa, wow, very nice looking RPG, very neat visual style, wow. Yeah, no, stay away from this. So I had to email them because I was told that there would be a day 1 patch, that would address certain issues. And when I played this, I was like, okay, well maybe the day 1 patch will be another day. But no, this is the day 1 patch. And yeah, so what we have here is a third-person action RPG with basically insta-kill mechanics and a generally broken experience. I've had times where the character freezes and they won't move. Going into the menus seemed to unfreeze them, but they wouldn't at all move. Long loading times, as you are seeing between deaths. Your character is fragile. There's no real point to the game. There's a ton of pop-in. I've had times where the music disappears and then comes back and then disappears. That's usually an issue with rendering. As you can see, terrible pop-in. The game is not Xbox One X enhanced, and I'm playing on the Xbox One X, and it's not playing great. So yeah, I can't imagine what the base console experience is like. And it's sort of a shame because I actually really love the visual style of this, but like you can see, there's some really weird like stutters in the game and visual issues with like texture rendering. Not only that, the game is sort of mindless and pointless. So you just meander down linear but yet slightly open environments without a point to it. You do have a noble steed that you're given at the start. It's like an elk thing, but you can't ride it because you don't have berries, and you have to go find the berries somewhere, but they don't tell you that. So you're kind of like walking around wondering, what am I supposed to do? What is the point of this? Like, it seems like the story started with, your family getting killed or your village getting killed or something. And then it does some kind of weird time-lapse sort of thing that doesn't really make any sense. And then you just appear in this world, and then you're not given a quest. You're not told what you're doing. You're just playing, I guess. Now, I'm assuming this might be somewhat of an appealing aspect to some individuals that like I don't know, the Dark Souls aspect of, running around and not having a point to it. But yeah, it's sort of weird. And the thing is, like, look at this area. It actually, there's a chance here where this actually could be a lovely sort of game, but they don't really convey the point as to what you're doing or anything like that. And then on top of that, the combat is super clunky. It's very awkward. I suggest sort of, staying away from this title, which is a shame because I do think there's this world and this concept. It actually seems like a worthwhile and interesting sort of experience. But yeah, it's just not really great. Hey, buddy, I think I can actually mount you now. Oh, I actually gotta feed you things. Oh, what happened to my... Oh, I had berries. Maybe I lost them when I died. Anyways, that's the elk thing. You start down there anyways. We're gonna show off the combat, which is like super awkward and clunky. So it's stamina based. Kinda, I guess, going to that Dark Souls-esque style of hardcore gameplay. But it's just really awkward. And you don't really have a dodge. Like, you can run and slide away, but you don't really have much of an option in order to do stuff. You can like parry a bit, but that doesn't really work. So we're gonna try to knock that shield off. But yeah, it's just kind of like the hit detection is kind of awkward, and the AI is a bit awkward too. Like, they kind of just stand there a lot of the time. Sometimes they come after you though, and they'll just like insta kill you, which is crazy, or they'll get like a swing way before you can fight back. And it's just sort of terrible. And this is like right at the start of the game. I literally cannot pass the area down below. And I just got fed up and I want to be done with it. That's why I was like, I'll wait for a patch, you know, because they talked about the patch rebalancing and fixing the game and completely reconverting it. And I was like, oh wow, okay, so you know, maybe this isn't what the experience is like. Yeah, no, this is the patch. I was like, oh, are you sure? Like, says I gave them the build number and everything, and they're like, yep, that's the patch and everything. And they like, I guess they're dedicated in regards to reworking things, and they're doing like a wikia for it and everything, which is cool. Yeah, constantly addressing issues on all platforms. It's like, wow, yeah, this is bad. And again, that's kind of a shame, because I do think it's got a very lovely sort of art style to it. Obviously, I think development-wise, it just wasn't really polished enough, because you got to remember, you know, that this is the update for what they want to show people when the game comes out, and it was rougher beforehand. And again, like, hopefully more of the issues come up, but I hope you've been seeing like the stutters and just like the combat is just not thrilling. I don't find this very interesting. I don't know what the point of anything is. The narrative isn't delivered in a very interesting way. I don't want to keep playing it because, you know, you die and then you have to deal with these long loading screens, and it doesn't really teach you anything. Now, games don't necessarily have to teach you stuff. Sometimes it's fun to learn, but there should be certain mechanics or something in the game that kind of prompts you to be like, I need to do this in order to do this. It just kind of like throws you out there, and you don't really know why. I think we're gonna go trigger the bees over here. And again, there's like other little bugs in regards to doing certain things in the environment. The bees. And it's just like the hit detection just seems really bad in this. Oh yeah, yes they did. I don't know what else there's to really say about this. Like, it's cool that you have a companion in the game. I like that there's, you know, little elk buddy that you have. But I feel like maybe you should have like earned it or something, or showing like the bond between it. Like, you get that a little bit in the opening cutscene, but it really wasn't that deep or anything. And they say it's like a narrative driven thing, but most of the, like, if there's any story, it's like these weird speech bubbles that you get from going up to like little face statues, and that's really about it. I'm trying to like knock the shield off there. And it's just kind of like really clunky, awkward combat that isn't fun. I mean, if you want like a hardcore time, I guess you could do this. Now, I know that there's like stronger sort of like boss creatures and stuff to do, and some sense of puzzles, but like I can't even get to a point where I can actually really sink my teeth into this game and enjoy it. And I'm not cutting out the loading screens on this. I want people to get a sense of what the gameplay is like. I mean, comment all you want. I'm just trying to give a fair warning in regards to what this game offers, because I was expecting, you know, a challenge is fine, but I want to have had something that, you know, is this lovely, but is also more playable, and something that you can, you know, really sink your teeth into RPG-wise and kind of see what you're doing. It's just really bad. Like, one of the worst titles I think I've played this generation, quite honestly. Just in terms of like how it runs, is not even an enhanced title. You know, the issues with the gameplay that have come up, the other problems, and I'm not even really in the game. I haven't gotten to a point where it's like, you know, this is getting interesting. And there's a lot of like promise here, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it's just weird to have a game that has this style of like visuals that I'm like, oh wow, this is so cool, and then have gameplay where I'm like, I want to run away from this game and do anything else other than it. Like I said, I was really hoping that the patch would have been better. I also find that I clip on objects a lot. Well, it's actually working well there, but yeah, sometimes it just seems to like get stuck on stuff. Oh, I might actually get this guy. Nope.